What's up, everybody? It is your boy, Justin Strickland, and I'm back on the Ladder Podcast. I'm your host of this wonderful, wonderful thing that we do every week, hanging out on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. We're here, and I'm here to talk about leadership, because that's what we do. We love developing leaders, encouraging leaders, and just pursuing leaders and saying, hey, you have something to offer the world. I've noticed so many people are in the world just kind of getting by, just following, just day to day, kind of floating. This is a wake-up call. The ladder is your wake-up call. It's your coffee. Like, hey, get up and go be who you were designed to be. And so today, I want to talk about something that really kind of been challenging me the last couple of weeks. And I have this idea of a person in front of a fork in the road, okay? And in this fork in the road, you know, it's usually two sides, right? And so the left side is what they have, and the right side is what you want. And the reason that I've been thinking about this is I feel like a lot of times we jump into things, or we build our lives based on things that aren't true, because we're dealing with a false narrative in general. So, for example, right? I was thinking about travel influencers, and I love travel influencers. I love to travel just in general. Me and my wife just renewed our passports. Like, we love to get up out this country, go visit other places and experience other cultures. And so one of the people that I look at often are travel influencers. And I love the way they've built their lives, where they can kind of travel and bounce to different places and experience different cultures. And one of the things that I was thinking about is like, man, because I used to be like, man, I want that life, right? Like, I wish I could just live in a place for a month and then travel, and then live to another place for a month and then travel. But what I've come to realize is what they have isn't necessarily what I want. And what I mean by that is I have a lot of responsibility as far as like people who depend on me. Of course, crew excellence, right? I know y'all depend on me, but like just people in real life, like my wife, my family members who really like depend on me. And so I don't necessarily want to be disconnected completely from them in that way, where I'm kind of living on the lay of the land, and they might not know where I am or how to get in touch with me, and I might not be able to get back to them, right? And so I don't necessarily want what they have. What I want is just the freedom to travel. I don't necessarily want to be inaccessible or just in places where my family isn't. There are some things that I like to experience with my family, milestones and things of that like I want to be able to fly back and say like, hey, I'm coming to a birthday, or fly you out, right? And be like, come hang out with Uncle Strick for a week, right? Like, those are things that I value, and I've built those values. Now, don't get me wrong. I think I could live somewhere else other than Kansas City and I have no problems with that. Like, I think I could live in another country, but I think it would have to be very intentional. And then I would still be bouncing back. Like, I would come back for a week, few weeks every now and then, just to check on my people. And there's people that really depend on me every day right now too. And so I have a different life. And so I'm looking at what they have, and don't get me wrong, it took me to take a step back and really evaluate myself and be self-reflective, because what'll happen is I could end up chasing something and then getting it and being like, this isn't what I thought it was. This isn't what I wanted it to be. Like, I was reading a travel influencer, and they were talking about an instance they had in Colombia where they got in a boat. They were in Colombia, got on a boat to go to an island off the coast of Colombia. Beautiful island. They had a great time. They get back on the boat to go back to Colombia, and the people that they got in the boat with just took them into the middle of the ocean and was like, hey, give me some money or you dead right here. And it was like, and I'm like, wait a minute. And she's like, nah. And they said like, and so she goes through it, and they finally end up getting back and getting help and paying them a little money. It was a whole thing. But I'm thinking in my head, Louise would lose her mind if I put her in a situation like this. And so those are the type of things that I have to think about. Like, if I was by myself and I wasn't married, my life would look a lot different. But like, because I have my wife and I love my wife and she depends on me, and specifically to keep her safe, there are certain places and situations and things of that nature that I can't really put us in good conscience, right? Now, I can't protect her from everything, but there's wisdom, right? And so I think so often what waters down our individuality or waters down our ability to lead effectively with excellence is that we're often trying to go left on this fork in the road. Remember, the fork in the road, left is what they have, right is what you want. And we're trying to go left to get what they have because we think it's the same path when it's really not, right? It's really not. Because a lot of times we don't understand the internal things we desire and we chase external things that we think look good. Perfect example, rappers and jewelry. I don't know if I told this story on the pod before. I know I told Nate, but hey man, I'm transparent. So one thing that like you grow up watching hip hop and watching athletes and they wear jewelry and they have what the guy who low key watch Patrick Mahomes when he pop out. When I'm talking about his necklaces be Michael Jackson dancing, dog, we talking about real diamonds. You know what I mean? Like he not playing, but like they wear like expensive jewelry. And so as a African American man growing up and as a hip hop kid, that was something I was always wanting. Like I want a chain, bro. Like I need a chain. And so I'm making a little money around New Year's. I go buy me a chain. I spent more money on it than I'm proud of. And I bought it and it was an impulse buy. Like I got into it with the lady at the jewelry store because she treated me like I was broke and I didn't like that. So I dropped some cash on her. Hey man, Lord's still working on me. You feel me? So I bought the chain. I put the chain on. I'm looking in the mirror. I wear the chain. I take the chain back the next day. Because what I realized was that's not what I wanted. Right? Like I don't want to appear affluent or appear like I have a lot of money, or that's not something that I want. I thought I wanted what they had, but I realized when I, you know what I'm saying, I thought it was the same path, but I realized it wasn't. I realized what I wanted was different. What I wanted was different. All right. For me, it's like I look at rappers like I've been like following La Russell right now. His last album is crazy. He got Busta Rhymes on it, Snoop Dogg, T-Pain. It's crazy as an independent artist to have names like that on your third album of 2025. It is April. He just dropped his third album in 2025, y'all. And so I'm listening to it, and I gotta be careful because I'm listening to it, and I'm like after every album I listen to, I'm like, I want to be a rapper. Like I said, I'm gonna go rap. I can do it. I want to be a rapper. But I realize it's not. I don't want to be a rapper. That's not what I want. What I want is to have freedom to produce art that I love, and that's what I do full time. So I realize like what I want is the freedom to produce art. I don't want to be a rapper. I used to. That's not what I want. What I want is the freedom to produce art, and this be how I get paid, how Nate get paid, how my wife get paid. Like this be how my homies, like I got some homies that create. Like this be that we eat off of this. That's my desire. And so I want to talk about how do you differentiate the two? How you distinguish the two, because it can become convoluted. It can become very confusing and very murky when you don't necessarily know what you want, right? So I'm gonna give you 3 ways to kind of separate what they have versus what you want, and how so you can make sure that you're going the right way. And if you stay till the end, I'm gonna tell you how to build a process that keeps you on the right path. Okay. The first thing is you got to know what you want. Okay. I know it sounds crazy, but you really have to do the work to know what you want. So right now, I am very intentional with the kind of work I do. And it's because there are certain things that are important in my life that certain jobs won't allow me to do. So for like, just in general, right? My time is very important to me. And what I mean by that is I can't be stuck in any building or any location for every day. That's just not my life. That's not the life I want. And so I'm very intentional with how, even like if I'm applying for new jobs or looking at opportunities or whatever, I can't do a 9 to 5. That's just that I can't do it. And it's because I don't want to. It's not because I'm physically can't. I could if I needed to, but I don't want to. And so I'm very intentional. Some of us have to do that work. If you don't want to do that, you might have to get another degree. You might have to get another certification. You might have to start an apprenticeship. You might have to do some things before you get to that point. That's the thing too. Knowing what you want, I got to get to the end. Let me slow down. Let me slow down. The first thing is know what you want. Write a list. Ask people. If you can get close enough to ask people that have what you think you want, ask them questions. And real questions. Ask them like, how often do you see your family? Because this is a real life thing. I was coaching college basketball. Absolutely loved coaching college basketball. And it was time for me to move on from where I was at to another school, another location. And I had a connection to UMKC. That's a small Division I school here in Kansas City. And they were like, hey, I feel like if you apply here, apply to be an assistant coach at UMKC, I might be able to really help you get hired. It was like a 5 times pay increase from what I had. And it was like 4 or 5 level jump from where I was at. So it was a great opportunity as far as coaching college basketball was concerned. But I ran into an issue. And the issue I ran into was on the application. And I'm so grateful they put it on there. But on the application, it says the average number of hours worked per week. And it said 65 to 80 average hours worked per week. And for some people, that's dope. And they love that, and they love being at work, and they love it. Not your boy, okay? 40 is a tough one, right? So the ideal that like I was gonna have to spend majority of my life away from my wife was just like, nah, like that's not what I want. I love coaching college basketball, but college basketball was not my I didn't want to be Coach K. I didn't want to be Gino. All right. I don't want to be Don Staley. I just loved impacting people and youth and young men and young women and guiding them and seeing their and being with them through their joys, through their trials, through their triumphs. Like I loved the journey that college basketball provided. But I realized what I loved about where I was at was I still had my time. And so my wife was my assistant coach. And she hung out and she was at practices and at games and she rode. And so I love spending, because I love my wife and I like spending time with her. And I like creating space for us to spend more time together. And so I was like, there's no way I can take a job where I know I'm signing up to spend the majority of my life away from my wife. And so I had that, but I am, and I will admit, I am very clear about what I want. Very, very clear about what I want. And it is it grounds me. It makes it so that I don't sway or jump at opportunities that sound good for most people, but not necessarily work for what I desire. Okay. Number 2. So the first one is know what you want. Number 2 is really know what they have. Okay. So really know what they have. And this is what I mean. There are a lot of people that you think have stuff that they do not have. Their jewelry is rented. Their cars are rented, right? Their credit cards are maxed out. Their relationships are fickle, right? And so you end up looking at someone building your life off of something they don't even have. One thing I talk about all the time is like all these like social media couples. And don't get me wrong, I have some that I follow and I love. I love the ones who create content and they funny, and I love Black love and I be watching it. But I would never look at one of their relationships and be like, man, I'm gonna make my relationship like that. I'm gonna do what they doing. Because what we don't understand about social media, which is weird to me that we don't understand it. But we don't understand that, bro, you don't know everything. Like, you don't see everything going on in a relationship. You don't see everything going on in their day. Like, you don't know how happy they really are. You don't know how loved she really feels, how respected he really feels. You don't know how much money they really making. Like, there's a lot of things that we can look at and say, like, there are some things that I like about this couple or I like about this couple. But to be like, I want that, it's illogical because we don't really know what that is. Okay? We see it all the time. These famous, and these aren't even like the small ones, the ones that y'all are invested in. Y'all know their kid name, their anniversary, right? Y'all know where they got married. Y'all are invested in these people's lives, and they get divorced and they fall apart, and their spouses on the internet been like, hey, this person was abusive. This person did this. You didn't see it, and I smiled on camera, but I was going through it every day. And y'all be like, oh my gosh, I would have never guessed. Duh. Because they make a video and they cut it up and they put it online once or twice a day, right? And so a lot of times actually, you got to find out if they really have what you want, because there are some people that do, right? Like, I think for me, one of those people, like Kev on Stage is a person I look at, and look at what he's done and what he's built. Like, I've been following him for like 7 years now, 8 years. When he was used to making videos in the car on the way to work, and I was watching him and seeing what he's built and how he's built it with his friends and all the things that have happened as he's been building and all of that. And I look at it, I'm like, man, I want to do something similar to that. Now, I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know exactly how he did it. He actually is very transparent with a lot of stuff, but it's still like, you got to take it with a grain of salt. I want that, but I don't know what all that entails. I don't know how many times he can be going through it. And like, I don't know the tension or stress he feels or experiences. And so I say that I want that, but deep down I know like mine's gonna have to be different because I'm a different person in a different situation, doing something different, right? And so we have to realize that. What do they actually have? And then the third thing, so what do you want? Second thing, what do they have? The third thing is, how did they get it? How did they get it? Because that's a big thing for me. Is one of my favorite phrases, and I don't even know who. So drop in the comments if you know who came up with this phrase. All money ain't good money, okay? I don't know who came up with it. Drop the credit in the comments, because I just something that I've been saying for a long time, since I was like 19, 20. All money ain't good money. You feel me? And so there are some times that people have things because they did things that you don't want to do, can't do, and aren't willing to do, okay? There are some people who sign deals that you wouldn't sign, that do things that you wouldn't do, that make sacrifices that you're not willing to make. Like I was talking about this the other day when I was at work. I'm in a book club at work, and we were talking about. I was talking about elite athletes, and I was saying one thing that I wasn't necessarily willing to do was sacrifice my marriage to be an excellent basketball player. And what I mean by that is the greatest players, Kobe, LeBron, Steph, like all of them to a certain extent, right? They have to sacrifice their marriage because they're chasing to being the greatest player ever, right? If you're working out 3-4 times a day, you traveling, like if you're in the NBA, you play 41 road games, right? And that doesn't include the playoffs. That includes the preseason. That doesn't include any of your endorsement arrangements, any of your shoe stuff. Like, just in general, you're going from home half the year, right? And so there's a level of sacrifice there. And I had to be real with myself and be like, bro, I like hanging out with my wife. There's a ceiling on how great of a basketball player I can be, just because I know there's gonna be some times where she want to do some stuff that I should be in the gym, that I'm not gonna go to the gym because I want to hang out with my wife, right? And it's not a knock on her. I'm not saying she's holding me back, but I'm just saying I'm not willing to make that sacrifice. And so we have to be honest with ourselves. Like, are you willing to do what they did to get where they are? And if not, then you have to decide that maybe that's not where I want to go, or maybe that's not how I'm gonna get there. And so you have to be realistic with yourself, because too often we lie about it being. We'll say things like this, and I'm trying to pick my words careful, because I don't want to disparage anyone, okay? But hey, we're gonna be honest. Sometimes we say things like it's unfair, or I did my best, or I tried, and it's just not true. Okay? Because what we really mean is, and what we really mean is, I gave effort until it was uncomfortable. And when it got uncomfortable, I walked away. Now, if we can be honest with ourselves and say that gives us some chance to reflect and to redeem, right? What we're chasing. But most people aren't honest in that way. They'll look at somebody else who has what they thought they wanted, and they'll make excuses why that person has it and they don't. They'll look at them like, see, they made it because they were in the right city, or they made it because they had the right look, or they made it because their spouse helped let them do X, Y. Like, we make excuses for other people. Like a perfect example is like Ryan Coogler just dropped the Sinners movie. And so there's an interview that just went viral of his, and he's talking about how his then girlfriend bought his first screenwriting software. And I think it was like $300 or something. And so she bought it for him because he told her, I think I want to write screenplays. And so she surprised him with the software. You should have seen all the dudes in the comments. See, that's why I ain't successful. Because my girl would never. My woman would never. See, that's why I ain't made it. Because whoop-de-whoop. And I'm like, bro, buy your own software. Like if you want to write you want to screenwrite, buy your own software. Ryan Kruger's girlfriend helped him, but if she didn't buy it, that didn't mean he wasn't gonna be great. And so that's what you gotta understand. It's like everybody's path doesn't have to be yours, and you can't make excuses because their path looked different. Don't do that. Like, be honest with yourself and be like, I'm bad with money, so I can't afford this software. Now we can work at it. Now we can figure out how we can save money, and you can have somebody you might even have somebody who keeps your money so you don't spend it. So that when you get to enough, you save enough, you make enough, they're like, hey, here's the money to buy your software. Go be great, right? Like there's different things we can do, but we got to be honest with it. Okay, we got to be honest with it. And so now I'm gonna talk about the process and how to develop a process that gets you what you want and not what they have. Okay? It gets you what you want and not what they have. You have to start with what you want and where you want to go and how long you want it to take to get there. And you just reverse engineer. And so you say in 5 years, I want this, this, and this. Okay? This is what it looks like to get X, Y, and Z. And these are the resources and tools that I need to reach that goal. And this is the discipline required to do it. Okay? And now, for some of y'all got scared because y'all don't like the rigidity and y'all don't like the finality of putting the time limit on it. The time limit is for you to be disciplined with the process and the journey. It's not to guarantee a result. Okay? So I want to be honest. Plans don't guarantee results. It does guarantee processes and a journey, though. And it's because in the process, in the journey, you might decide you don't necessarily want what's at the end of that destination, right? So the destination is there so that you're working towards something. But don't get me wrong. It might be 5 years coming past, and you reevaluate. You be like, you can be honest. I wasn't disciplined as I needed to be. I can do better. Or I did everything I was supposed to, and it just didn't break my way this time, right? And so do I need more time? Do I need to pivot? Be honest with all of those things. I always talk about working out, right? And one of the things that's interesting to me is like bodybuilders, because they look crazy to me. And they just look absolutely crazy. But what I realize is I don't want to look like that. Like I was talking to a dude in the gym this morning, and we were talking about like building functional strength and having range of motion, stuff that 30-year-old people talk about. And so we was talking about it, and I was like, yeah, man, I don't want to not be able to do this. You feel me? Like, this is important to me. I don't know why, but I feel like I need to be able to do it. And so when I work out, when I go to the gym, you ain't never going to walk in the gym and see me trying to bench press 300 pounds. Not ever. Even if I can, right? Like, you'll never see that because that's not my goal, right? And so we have to work backwards from what we want and move towards that goal. Like for me, I want to be able to dunk without my knees hurting. That, you know what I mean? That's where I'm at. I want to go up, dunk the basketball, and go home, and I'll be like, 3 days ago I jumped kind of high. Like that's my goal right now. And so I'm working towards that. I'm doing exercises and lifts and eating in a certain way so that I'm moving towards that goal, right? And so I believe that you all can have what you want and not what they have, but you got to know the difference. You got to know the difference, and you got to know the difference between reality and the internet. You got to know it. I was watching this. I think it was a documentary, like a small. I don't know. It's on YouTube. It'd be hard to tell you like what stuff is on YouTube. It was a video, long form video on YouTube, and they were talking about this phenomenon in LA that exists. So you can buy property. And instead of like listening to like Airbnb or whatever, you like do hourly rentals. Because what they said happens in LA, and they said the same thing like Miami as well, Vegas too, is like influencers rent expensive houses to shoot content. And so they go to these houses that they don't own, they pay for 2 hours, which might be like $2,000 or $3,000 for 2 hours, right? And they make content. They make content like this is their bathroom, like this their bedroom, this their living room, and they'll batch content 2 or 3 hours, whatever. They bring their film crew, they shoot, and then they go home to their house that doesn't look like that. Right? And then they put the content up online, and you like, man, their house look like that. Not knowing for the small price of $650, your house could look like that too. And so don't get caught up with the internet stuff, man. Build something real, build something tangible based on what you really want. Like, shout out to my cousin, Trevor Travels. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tag him in this, man. That's my big cousin, bro. He loves to travel. That's why his name is Trevor Travels. And you know what he does? Travels. He's out in Asia. He's in different countries. He's catching flights. He's meeting people. He be letting them shave his head. I would never. He be eating their food. He be in their water. But he is in living his own reality. And it's different than other travel influencers and all that. Like, I don't know if Trav even doing sponsored deals or nothing. I just know he out there and he's enjoying it. And that's what he wants. And so that's when sometimes you got to realize is like, you can travel without being an influencer. I don't know if y'all knew that, but like you can experience travel and it just be something you love to do. You can have a lot of money and nobody knows it. Right? You can have a ton of money and not drive a brand new car. Oh, that's my new thing. I'm gonna say this and get out. This ain't got nothing to do with the episode. We just hanging out, bro. It's Crew Excellence. What up, man? It's my podcast. I do what I want. One thing, type of content that I love now. Didn't know I liked it. Seeing people get screwed over in car deals. I didn't know why I liked it. It's crazy to me though. It's some people I watch on Instagram and they be showing us the conversation they have with people who trying to get out of car deals. And when I tell you the way that luxury vehicles depreciate, gotta be criminal, dog. It's gotta be criminal. I was watching an episode the other day. I say episode. It was a reel. I was watching a reel. That tells you how deep I am on him. Watching the episode the other day of the car guy. And it was this lady, and it's always a girl who got a car for her boyfriend in her name, and they doing Turo, but now Turo don't work. That's like the storyline, right? And she had a what was it, BMW? It was a was it? No, it wasn't a BMW. It was the what was it? I know it was expensive. Oh, it was a Benz. It was a G-Class Benz. She had a G-Class Benz. And she had bought it brand new for like 160. And 2 years later, it was worth like, I think dude said he can give 80. It lost $80,000 in equity in 2 years. And she still owed like 130, 120 on it. He was like, bro, you $40,000 upside down in equity. And unless you coming with $60,000 cash, I'm not putting you in a new car. And I was like, this is crazy. But all right, I'm going to tie it into the episode because I'm cold like that. It reminded me that sometimes we go get stuff that we think will make our life better, and it really doesn't because we don't know what it takes to have that stuff. We don't know the cost. We don't know how much it. I be hearing people say they paying $2,000, $3,000, $3,500 a month for a car, for the car note and the insurance. That is absolutely ridiculous. But you know why that's absolutely ridiculous to me? Because I can't afford that. And so the idea, there are some people that can, but these people that are calling, they can't. But they wanted the car because they wanted to look like they could. And so I just encourage you all to do the work, to make the plan, and to really know the difference between what they have and what you want, and build a plan based on what you want, so that when you get it, you can really enjoy it and experience the thing that you thought, that you knew would bring you joy and peace. All right, y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed y'all Easter. Jesus is risen. You feel me? And that's why I'm happy. And that's why I smile. It's your boy, Justin Strickland, the host of the Ladder Podcast. If you want to join Crew Excellence, link is in the comments. Go ahead and join. Exclusive content, merch, all that in there. Love y'all, man. I'm honored. You could be anywhere, but you're here with your boy, man. Peace.